What is up, everybody? Happy NBA schedule day for the 2023-24 season. How is everybody doing tonight? Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen on in, join the show, whether you're watching now or later. I do appreciate it. As we do every show, you guys, let me know how we're looking. Let me know how we're sounding. It really helps me out. You guys already know the drill. One-man show here. But we got a good show for you guys planned today. We are obviously going to be breaking down the schedule and going over some like key dates and key games and key things and everything. And then we will be talking about a couple other Phoenix Suns and NBA related things. And yeah, so it's going to be a good show, you guys. So with that being said, everybody, I think we're just going to jump right into it. The schedule has been released. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to share my tab here. These graphics are all coming from the Phoenix Suns Twitter and everything. But yeah, so the schedule is here. And where I really want to start, you guys, is thank you, Chantel. I hope I said your name right. Thank you, Chantel, for letting me know we're sounding good. By the way, just so you guys know, the reason I want to know if we're sounding good is because sometimes technology doesn't work. And I remember on the NBA draft, I was live for like maybe a couple hours and I was using my webcam mic. That's why. Anyways, you guys don't care about that. All right, let's start with the, where I really want to begin is actually during the preseason. And I sort of talked about this recently. I believe it was last live show. But I do want to start with October 8th, 2023 versus the Detroit Pistons. And again, the reason that that's a big game is because it is Monty Williams, former Phoenix Suns head coach. And I believe that that's a home game, if I got that correct, if I'm reading that correctly. No, that's actually an away game. But still, either way, return of Monty Williams. And I can't wait for that game. And it's also our first look. And as I keep kind of using this sort of bad reference, it's sort of like our first preview or a teaser trailer for this Phoenix Suns team, which is, the only two remaining players from last season are Devin Booker, Deandre Ayton, Kevin Durant, Josh Okogie too. But you guys get the point. It's pretty much a brand new Phoenix Suns team. And that's really our first look at the Phoenix Suns. That's why I wanted to cover that game. And then just for record, our first preseason home game is against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. All right, you guys don't care about the preseason, right? Let's move on here. As you see, we got the graphic right in front of us. Our first home game, or excuse me, our first game. I'm sorry, you guys. It was a long day, so if I'm a little scrambled during this live show, I do apologize. Anyways, first, let me get my thoughts gathered here for a minute. Our first regular season game of the 2023-24 season is against the Golden State Warriors. I believe that news came out like a couple weeks ago or whatever. But yeah, Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins versus Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. Can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of firepower in that game. And look, even though I'm pretty high on the preseason and really looking at our Suns closely during the preseason, you guys know that kind of team, most teams kind of take it easy during the preseason. So I'm really going, and after that first regular season game, we're all going to overreact to it, including myself, but I'm really going to focus in on that first game. Just because, again, it's the first game. It's against the Warriors and all that. So that's going to be a really important game. And then after that, October 26th versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Anytime we play the Lakers, it's a big game. You guys know why. But what I was trying to say earlier before I butchered it, our first home game, yes, our first home game is against the Utah Jazz. And I'm definitely excited for that first home game. And then I tweeted this out earlier. We have a couple days off, but then our first look at the San Antonio Wembies. Yes, our first look at Victor Wembanyama. I hope I said his name right. And our first look at the Spurs. And then I believe we actually play them a couple days later. So those are just the games in October that I wanted to go over. All right, now let's move into November. Again, like I mentioned, we play San Antonio, first game of November. I sent a text message to one of my Sixers friends. Shout out to Philly Take with RB. We play Philly at 10 a.m. on Saturday. That was an away game. And then again, Detroit, Monty Williams and all them. It looks like we have one of those in-season tournament games against the Lakers on November 10th. And I just want to make sure I'm getting this all right. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. You guys can see the schedule. I remember tweeting this out earlier. Chris Paul will make his return to the Valley of the Sun on November 22nd. And I just want to make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, November 22nd. Suns Warriors, 8 p.m. That is a home game. Chris Paul returns. Cannot wait for that. And then I meant to tweet this out earlier, but I didn't. Just because it's New York and it's one of the best places to play at or whatever, Madison Square Garden. We do play the Knicks on Sunday, November 26th at 4 p.m. So in terms of me, that's an early game for me anyways. Suns Worldwide, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone who being here. We will see, to answer your question, Suns Worldwide. We will see. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Anyways, so let's move on here. And again, we're going to go over kind of like the big scheduled notes later, and just some things that I saw trending and people were talking about. We're going to go over that later. I kind of just wanted to cover some key games for each month. And don't get me wrong, you guys, like I said, my brain was a little scrambled earlier. If there's a key game that I'm missing and you're like, Suns Geek, you haven't talked about this game or this matchup, let me know. Again, we're just in November right now. We will get to every game, but I probably missed like 5 or 10 games that I should be talking about, but I'm not. Also, since we got, 20 something people in here, and again, thank you guys for watching. Do me a huge favor. Let me know what games you are excited for. Let me know if you guys are planning on going to games and put the dates in there. Like, hey, I'm going to this game in January or whatever. So let me know, you guys. All right. Just real quick. Let's just see if I missed any games for November. We play the Blazers and then, the Grizzlies and the Thunder, the Jazz. Okay, we got a lot of Sunday games in November. Like literally just taking a look at the schedule. We have 4 games in November that are all on Sunday. And we have 4 games that are all on Wednesday. So that's interesting. A lot of days off in terms of like back-to-backs. Like look at after the Detroit game on Sunday, we get 2 days off. Then we're in Chicago. Then we get another day off. Then we're in LA. And then we get Saturday off. And then, we got that Monday too. That's cool. I like how we have like those back-to-back days off. That's cool. And don't get me wrong. I mean, most of the time the Suns will be practicing and all that, but still. All right. Let's move on here. December, Christmas time, holiday time. The first game in December is against the Denver Nuggets at home. That game is going to be sold out. Then the next day we play the Grizzlies. Real quick, I'll just get this out of the way because I saw it trending earlier. December 13th against the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, the Twins return home. Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges making their return to the Valley of the Sun. That game is going to be sold out. And a lot of home games in December too. Now, I'm not really going to talk too much about the in-season tournament stuff because if you're looking at the schedule, I mean, there's the quarterfinals, there's the semifinals. I'm sure the Suns will be playing some of those games. I don't really know how it all works. So don't let that week off fool you. I'm pretty sure the Suns will have a few games during that stretch. Someone in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, the Twins are coming home. Also, right before the Twins come home, Chris Paul returns home again, December 12th. But yeah, look how many home games are in December. That is freaking awesome. I think that was actually in my notes. Somebody put it out on Twitter earlier. The 6-game homestand, the longest 6-game homestand for the Suns is from December 29th to January 7th. But man, that's all that. And again, guys, like in my personal opinion, I really believe that winning games at home is important. I don't care if you're a lottery team. I don't care if you're a championship contender like we are. Winning games at home is important. And look how many home games we got, y'all. That's crazy. I love that. All right. Moving on. Let's go to January. Moving on to January, y'all. Again, you know, that long home stand stretch is going to be really important, especially around that time of year, because like teams are still like finding their groove, and we kind of know who's like going to be a contender and all that. I've always believed that like by All-Star break, we know which teams are contenders, pretenders, I mean, you know, borderline, and then we know which teams are going to be in the lottery by February. But January, it's kind of when you really want to start finding your groove and everything. So that's just my personal opinion. But what do I know, you know? All right. So moving on. We play the Clippers January 3rd, the Miami Heat January 5th. And then we got back-to-back games, which I'm going to talk about later. But we got Memphis Sunday, January 7th, the Clippers on the 8th, which is a Monday. Then 2 days later, we play the Lakers. Then we got 2 days off. Then we play the Kings, light the beam. Then we got the Pacers, the Bulls, Mavericks on January 24th. And then we go on a long road trip. So let's move on to February. And I tweeted a couple things out about February earlier. Our first game of February is against the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. And they just traded away John Collins, which is, you know, long overdue. But anyways, but yeah. So what I tweeted out about February earlier was for the Phoenix Suns anyways, NBA All-Star break. It could be every team, but I haven't looked at every team's schedule. But for the Phoenix Suns, NBA All-Star break begins Thursday, February 15th, and will end Thursday, February 22nd against the Dallas Mavericks. So, you know, assuming like Booker's an all-star and KD or whoever is not participating in All-Star weekend will have like 10 days off or whatever it is, to rest, practice, all that stuff. But either way, what I like that All-Star weekend has done is they've added a few days off, for most teams anyways. I thought it was a little bit longer, but it looks like it's only 3 days after that Sunday of All-Star weekend. But either way, because I guess like back in the day, they would have like 1-2 days off max. But I believe over the last few years, the NBA has been giving them like at least a few days off, which is really good. But returning from All-Star break, looks like we got a Texas road trip, Dallas and Houston, back-to-back games, 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And then we play the Lakers on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Then we got 3 days off, y'all. Then we play the Houston Rockets at home. Houston Rockets sort of loaded up this offseason, getting Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, the infamous Dylan Brooks, and former Phoenix Sun Jock Landale as well. So, all right, y'all, we're getting to the home stretch here. So keep in mind, you guys, we're already 15 minutes in. We still have some other scheduled notes that we're going to go over. And then again, we have some other stuff that we're going to talk about. And so don't go anywhere, y'all. All right, let's talk about March. Looks like we got a lot of games in March, y'all. Starts on Saturday, March 2nd. Wasn't that the day Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, by the way? I think it was March 2nd, 1964, something like that, 65. Anyways, yeah, March 2nd versus the Houston Rockets again. Hold on, I just want to double check something. When do we play? Do we play them back to back? February? Yeah, we play them back to back, sort of. The 29th of February, and then we play them. Then we play them on the 2nd of March. That's interesting. All right. March 3rd, back-to-back games, Oklahoma City Thunder. Then we play the Denver Nuggets March 5th. Then it looks like we go on an East Coast road trip. Looks like we got the Raptors. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Those are home games. I'm stupid. So, yeah, we got the Raptors, Boston. It looks like a couple East teams come to us. Raptors, Boston. Then we go on a East Coast road trip. Cleveland, Boston, Charlotte, Milwaukee, Philly, Atlanta. You know what I mean? That's a lot of Eastern Conference teams. And then we play the Spurs twice, Nuggets, and then to finish out March, October 29th against the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right. Then things really start to get interesting, y'all. April, it's almost playoff time. We know which teams are going to be in the lottery, all that stuff. Playoff excitement's going to start heating up. I don't know if we have an official date yet for the playoffs. Someone fact check me and let me know when the playoffs are supposed to start. But the final regular season game for your Phoenix Suns is on Sunday, April 14th versus the Minnesota Timberwolves at 12:30. And you got to assume, well, if I remember correctly, there's like maybe a few days off because there's like the play-in tournament and then the playoffs will begin. So you got to maybe assume it's probably going to start, I don't know, maybe around the 19th or 20th or something like that. But that is your April schedule. And who knows what the NBA is going to look like by this time. Again, if there's any key dates in April that you want me to talk about, let me know. But that is your April schedule. So again, we'll just go over it real quick, y'all. Then I'll dive into some kind of key notes and everything that I saw trending. So again, here's the month of October. Here is the month of November. Here is December. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? I'll just pull up the whole schedule. I'll just share this tab instead, and you guys can get a full look at the schedule. Again, there's NBA All-Star Weekend on there. There's the in-season tournament dates. And, you can kind of tell when there's a lot of away games, when there's a lot of home games. And one thing I kind of noticed is there's a lot of days off sort of in between games, which, for the most part, maybe besides like January and stuff like that and like March, but like seems like we got a lot of kind of back-to-back nights off, which is really good. And speaking of stuff like that, let's go ahead and dive into it, y'all. I want to shout out Zona Hoops on Twitter. He's a great follow. Bright Side of the Sun does a lot of other great NBA coverage and all that. He tweeted this out earlier. Let me just share this tab and let me zoom in on it, y'all, so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, Suns schedule notes. Okay, so I'm a little confused. Someone correct me if I'm wrong here. I keep seeing people posting, we only have 25 national TV games across ESPN, TNT, and ABC. But then I saw earlier on the NBA Today show that the Suns have 37 national TV games. And I even saw that on The Athletic, that we had 37 national TV games. So am I just like confusing myself, or did somebody put the wrong info out? We have a lot of national TV games is what I'm trying to say. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But either way, whole bunch of national TV games. And then again, shout out to Zona Hoops for this tweet. 14, count them, 14 back-to-backs, including 8 times playing home games on consecutive nights. So we have 14 back-to-backs, including 8 times playing home games on consecutive nights. Guys, we're at the 20-minute mark. Let me take a sip of my Powerade. Always delicious. Cheers. And again, since we're at the 20-minute mark, don't go anywhere after we're done talking about the schedule, because I want to talk about Deandre Ayton and Eric Gordon, and I want to talk about a couple other things. So stay tuned. All right. So continuing on. 37 national TV games, to my knowledge, 14 back-to-backs, including 8 times playing home games on consecutive nights. And then I kind of talked about this earlier. We have a 6-game homestand, which is the longest we're going to have, from December 29th and then entering the new year all the way to January 7th. And those games are going to be really important, y'all, because, again, you want to win games at home, especially when you're a contender. And there was a lot of parity in the NBA last year. And as you guys probably know, that every game counts for most teams. You know what I mean? Unless you actually have a playoff spot locked in, then you can lose, whatever amount of games. But, every game is important. So I sort of talked about this a little bit earlier. And there are a few different, long road trips that we're going to have. But our longest road trip is going to be from January 24th all the way to February 4th. So that's our 7-game road trip. All right. And then shout out to Dwayne Rankin, who covers the Phoenix Suns for Arizona Central. He had a good tweet earlier that I liked, as you guys can see right here. Suns schedule observations. I can't read. Again, we already talked about the back-to-backs, but we play the same team twice in a row. Play the Spurs on Halloween, November 2nd. The Jazz, the 17th and 19th of November. The Rockets, as I talked about earlier, 29th and February 29th and March 2nd. Then we play the Spurs again back-to-back, which is March 23rd and March 25th. Then the Clippers at home, April 9th and April 10th. And then he also goes on to note 12 of the last 18 games. 12 of the last 18 games are on the road, and we play the NBA champion Denver Nuggets at home once on December 1st. So pretty much the biggest takeaway from Dwayne's tweet here is, first off, the 14 back-to-backs, but also the last 12 out of the last 18 games are on the road. That's huge. That might be the biggest schedule takeaway, in my personal opinion. Because again, it really depends on the team and your situation and if you're winning and if you're locked into a playoff spot. But like, I want the Phoenix Suns to win a lot of those last 12 out of 18 games, especially those road games. Again, we're talking way in the future here. I mean, the season it's not even training camp yet. Season hasn't started, but you guys get what I'm saying. Those games are going to be super important. So shout out to Zona, shout out to Dwayne Rankin for their great observations and all that, and digging up that stuff on the schedule. All right, y'all, couple more things in terms of the schedule. I believe I saw this from The Athletic, and I must have not have linked the tweet, but oh no, I'm sorry. This actually comes from the Arizona Sports. The Phoenix Suns, 37 national TV home games. That's up 3 from last year, because last year we had 34. But here are the teams on national television that have the most. The Golden State Warriors have 41. The Lakers have 40, because of course they're the Lakers, right? Suns have 37. The Celtics have 34. The Nuggets and Bucks have 30. And I understand every season's different, you know. And I'm not trying to defend the Nuggets or anything. Like, I get, like, I'm not trying to necessarily defend them, but as I was reading that, I was like, man, the Nuggets only have 30 like national TV games, and they're the defending champions, and they got Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if the schedule kind of did them dirty. You know, I'm not trying to defend them or anything, but hey, screw them, because we got 37 national TV games, right? So, whatever. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do now is, again, if there's any key games that you're really focused in on, or if you're going to go to a game, let me know. Or if you just have any thoughts on the schedule that I may have missed, please put them in the comments. This is your time to get active in the comments. We're actually going to move on just to a couple of things that I saw trending on Twitter and all that. And actually, before we do this, I'm just going to look something up real quick, and then we will move on to our next topic. All right. So I don't know why I wanted to. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Let's talk about Deandre Ayton real quick. Then we'll move on to the next topic and then kind of wrap up the show. So Deandre Ayton. I was live the other day after the Bahamas and Cuba game, and wasn't necessarily talking about the game itself. I was really just kind of analyzing the play of Deandre Ayton and what Eric Gordon did. And I'm not going to lie, I missed the game. I missed the Bahamas game against Argentina, but I did see all the highlights and what was trending and all that. And Deandre Ayton still looks good. I mean, he finished with another double-double, I believe. Had a couple blocked shots. And again, from the highlights I saw, he looked really good. Was moving his feet well again. Had a nice dunk and everything, and was looking a little bit more finesse this time. A little more loose. And then there was that clip of him on the bench where he was like, they're tired as F. Like, let's go. I don't want to cuss on here because people get mad, but and I even tweeted out, I quote tweeted the video and I said, bring this energy during the regular season and the playoffs, Deandre Ayton. And again, like, I'm sure you can go on Instagram. You know, my guy, Suns Worldwide's in here right now. He's always posting great Suns content. Go look up the Deandre Ayton stuff because it's there. You'll see what I'm talking about. But one thing I sort of took away from his first game and from the second game is his passing. Deandre Ayton, and it's not like Deandre Ayton was necessarily like a bad passer, but like there's key moments in these games where he's dishing the ball and they're nice passes. And then I believe I saw something where I think his coach wanted him out on the 3-point line. And I remember in the first game, I even tweeted about that. I said, Deandre Ayton was in the corner back-to-back possessions. Now, I don't think he got the ball during those possessions, but you guys get the point. I just realized too, the whole time that we were doing the schedule, I forgot to pop up this little schedule graphic. That goes to show where my mind is at, y'all. It was a long day earlier. Please forgive me. I'm a human being. We all make mistakes. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I hope you guys like this little schedule graphic I made to celebrate the schedule. Anyways, y'all. But yeah, Deandre Ayton looking really good. Dunking the ball just like you guys want him to. Blocking shots. Running the floor well. Passing the ball. And I know you guys saw that Eric Gordon throwback slam. I mean, I saw somebody like, I forgot who it was. I wish I could give credit to this person, but somebody said like these athletes who we don't think are very athletic are still way more athletic than we are. You know what I mean? Like these professional basketball players would absolutely destroy us one-on-one. You know what I mean? And look, I don't mean to sound negative, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk with this next thing I'm going to say. Because again, I literally just said these professional athletes, even these overseas guys, would absolutely crush us one-on-one, right? Yeah, like your best five versus their best five, they would crush us, right? But I will say this. We have to kind of remember that Deandre Ayton is playing against overseas competition. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to them. There are some great overseas players. There are overseas players that probably should be in the NBA. But we have to remember, this isn't Nikola Jokic. This isn't Joel Embiid. This isn't Anthony Davis. The list goes on and on, right? So the only criticism I have about Deandre Ayton with these two games is, can Deandre Ayton bring this version of himself to the regular season and the playoffs? And look, even last year, even when I was the most critical, I always defended Deandre Ayton on this, is that there will be games where he will struggle. That's fine. He's a human being. It happens. The best players in the NBA sometimes have a couple games where they struggle, right? We've seen it. You know, heck, even KD had a couple bad games. Well, at least what we would consider a bad game sometimes, again, with us, so it happens. Sometimes Devin Booker, as great of a player and as great of a shooter is, sometimes the ball just doesn't go in the basket and Booker has a rough night, right? It happens. But Deandre Ayton, from training camp, from the very start of training camp, all the way to when we are in the finals, you know what I mean? He needs to bring it every single night. And he needs to be consistent. Well, at least most nights, you know what I mean? But I will say, I think I had a tweet where I was like, Deandre Ayton's running the floor pretty well, but I also said my last live show, he's not like as fast as I thought he was going to be. It does kind of look like he slimmed down a little bit, and it looks like he's in better shape, but I kind of wish he was a little faster. But again, I'm griping, I'm nitpicking here. I mean, I know he's not a NBA 2K created player out there. I know his speed isn't going to be 99 overall. Although there was one clip of him like taking off down court. I was like, man, can we get that Deandre Ayton every possession? So again, those are my compliments to Deandre Ayton. Those are my gripes and my criticism, unfortunately. But I'm really excited because think about it, you guys. Let me get a little cocky and arrogant for a moment here. If Deandre Ayton even brings 75% of this Deandre Ayton that we're witnessing, and if God for, you know, fingers crossed, praying to the NBA gods that we can stay at least 90% healthy and things are clicking, how are you going to stop this team? Because you have three of the best scorers in the NBA on the same team. You have some solid bench players, you know, like a Josh Okogie, Damian Lee, Yuta Watanabe, Eric Gordon. And if Deandre Ayton just brings 75% of this version of himself, I don't know how teams are going to stop us, like for real. So that's my cocky, arrogant moment of the show. Sort of went on a little bit of a longer DA rant there, but that's what Deandre Ayton does, man. He's so, like, I don't know if polarizing is the word, but he's so, you know, I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, y'all. So real quick, let's just get some comments here. Brew92 says, I hope DA dunks on McHale. Classy Skater says W. Lufa says, because the Suns are finally valued by the NBA. Because the Suns are finally valued by the NBA because they know they're going to get NBA views. Hence, the Suns getting the third most national televised games. Exactly. Shout out to BG, who says, I'm going to the game on January 31st versus the Nets. That's awesome. Make sure to get an autograph from McHale and Cam if you can. Shout out to my guy, Manuel, who says, I'm so excited for this upcoming season. Ayton is about to have his best season so far. Exactly. All right, y'all. So one more comment here. And again, if you're just joining the show, let me know if you guys are going to any games. Let me know if there's any key games, key takeaways from the schedule that I missed. Let me know. Backcourt Highlight says, DA about to prove the haters wrong if we don't trade him. That's cold. I don't think we're trading Deandre Ayton, y'all. Real quick, before we move on to the next topics, I have talked about this before. The only scenario I see us trading Deandre Ayton is if, and again, I'm sorry to get negative. I'm sorry to take the live show to this place. The only scenario in which we trade Deandre Ayton, at least this season, is if he shows up to training camp and is lackadaisical and we have that same old DA problem. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't think he's going to do this because Frank Vogel has already kind of built a small relationship with Deandre Ayton in terms of like building chemistry and calling him and talking to him. But if he's arguing with Frank Vogel, if he's going back and forth with Devin Booker and KD and just isn't the same, you know, is just the same old DA that we know and isn't playing that well and is inconsistent, that's the only scenario I see where we trade him. But I'm not trying to think like that, y'all. I'm trying to stay positive because, again, if Deandre Ayton can bring his best self to this team and be one of the more improved players in the league and maybe get some all-star votes and is consistent, especially on the defensive end, I don't know how people are going to stop this team. All right, y'all. Sincere says championship or bust. No question. No doubt. 100%. All right, y'all. Let me take a sip of my drink and we're going to move on to the next two topics. One of these is not Suns related, by the way. So, you know, I understand and I do appreciate that you guys are all here for Suns content, but one of these subjects isn't really Suns related, just letting you guys know in advance. Anyways, so sort of like I mentioned earlier, I do kind of want to go over this because it wasn't just the Suns schedule that came out today. It was the whole NBA schedule, right? But The Athletic had a tweet that I did want to read to you guys. Let me just share my screen. So this graphic comes from The Athletic. This is national TV games for every NBA team. Let me pull up this so it looks a little better, y'all. Let me lower that too. All right. So yeah, as you can see on the graphic, and we kind of went over this earlier a little bit, but I just wanted to show y'all anyways. Lakers and Warriors have 30 to 26. Suns, Celtics, Nuggets, 25 to 21. The list goes on and on. You got like the Knicks, Mavs, Bucks, Sixers, Heat with 16 to 20, etc. Now the teams with unfortunately only one. Now as I'm reading this list, one of these teams is interesting. The teams with only one, count them, just one national TV game are the Hornets, Pistons, Rockets, Pacers, Magic, Blazers, Raptors, Wizards. The team that kind of surprised me there, and I'm not saying they deserve like a whole bunch of national TV games, but the Pacers only have one national TV game? Come on. I think the Pacers are actually going to be pretty good. Not like great. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs, but like I think they're going to win a few games this year. They only got one national TV game. But and like maybe the Nets deserve a little more too, the Brooklyn Nets, and like, but I don't know. Like, does this list look fair to you guys? Like, do you think the schedulers, the NBA, you know, the people who made the schedule, do you think they got this right? And I understand you can't put every team on national TV, and not every team deserves to be on national TV, but I don't know, y'all. Just wanted to go over that tweet. Let's get to a couple comments real quick before we go to our next subject. Jason says, trade Ayton. What he did, he even do in the past in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Play defense. Well, Frank Vogel's going to have him playing defense. Let me tell y'all. To be fair, Ayton had his first bad playoff series, so let's just chill a bit. It says Lufa. That's funny. All right, y'all. So, a non-schedule topic is going to be our next segment here. And I thought this tweet was interesting. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because really it's just everybody's personal opinion at this point. And honestly, I don't know where this graphic came from. I just saw this tweet and I was like, oh, I could probably talk about that. All right. So this tweet comes from CJ Burner on Twitter. Can't Guard Book on Twitter. And he got this graphic, which I'm trying to find out where he got it from. But anyways, the point of the tweet is, let me lower this real quick. Sorry, guys. The point of the tweet is the top 10 players from the 2015 NBA draft based on talent and ability. And again, this is all subject to opinion. Obviously, you guys know me. I'm going to have Devin Booker on there, number one, no doubt. And earlier, when I was looking up something, I actually typed in the 2015 NBA draft, and I went to Basketball Reference, just in case there's some names that I'm missing here. But the top 10 list, at least according to this list, obviously Booker, Karl Anthony Towns. I think that's fair because some of these names I'm going to go over, some of you guys may not have even heard of, like at least later in the list I'm going to, talk about. But Kristaps Porzingis, maybe he can revive his career with the Celtics. He actually had a really, really good year last year with the Wizards. His year might have gotten overlooked. That's how good of a year he had. Miles Turner is a solid player. D'Lo and Terry Rozier, you can maybe flip-flop those, but D'Angelo Russell, he's a solid player at times. Norman Powell's a little underrated. Bobby Portis is playing for the Team USA right now, with the Twins and all them. Former Phoenix Sun, Mr. Valley Boy himself, coming in at 9, Kelly Oubre Jr. And Kevon Looney, has helped those Golden State Warriors win championships. He's a great big man in this league. So again, this is just somebody's list. I just wanted to go over it, but I want to read you guys a couple names here. from the 2015 NBA draft, which I hate to say this, y'all. We're almost coming up on the 10-year anniversary of this draft. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to be 2025 by the time we know it. But anyways, let's go over some of these names. Jahlil Okafor was the 3rd overall pick in this draft. Yikes. Dude's out of the league now. Mario Hezonja had a lot of promise, but I believe he's overseas now. Willie Cauley-Stein, I think he fell off because of injury. Same thing with Emmanuel Mudiay. Stanley Johnson, who didn't he have some off-season workout with the Suns or whatever before free agency? Frank Kaminsky, by the way, it was just announced today by Mark Stein, former Phoenix Sun. Frank Kaminsky is going to be playing over in Serbia. So shout out to Frank the Tank. I hope he makes his way back to the NBA one day. Shout out to Frank the Tank. But some other names here. I'm not going to read you all of them because we'd be here for a long time. Justice Winslow was picked 10. Trey Lyles is still in the league. He was 12. Former Phoenix Sun Cam Payne was the pick right after Devin Booker. And then we mentioned earlier, it was Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier. Let's see some other names that might stand out. Bobby Portis was the 22nd pick in the 2015 draft. Tyus Jones is on here, 24. The list goes on and on. Larry Nance Jr. Kevon Looney was the 30th pick. Cedi Osman's on here. Montrezl Harrell. I could go on and on, y'all. There were some notable names in the 2015 draft. It kind of falls off after a while, a lot of guys that I haven't even heard of. But yeah, the 2015 draft was kind of low-key loaded in a way. So that was a cool tweet. I just kind of wanted to go over that. But yeah, you guys know, in my personal biased opinion, Booker is number 1 from the 2015 NBA draft. All right, y'all, next topic. And again, it's not Suns related. I know you guys are here for Suns stuff. Please don't hate me, but this is a feel-good thing, all right? I wanted to go over this, all right? So I saw this tweet, and I thought it was worth just talking about for a minute. This tweet, let me pull it up real quick. This comes from Legion Hoops. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. Here we go. So this is a story actually about Austin Reeves and Russell Westbrook when back in 2020, when the pandemic was in full effect and everything, and I guess they were interviewing Austin Reeves, and he told a nice story about Russell Westbrook, and he said, I got COVID in December of my rookie year, which, I think it was 2019, 2020 or whatever. I was stuck in Minnesota for 7 days. Westbrook reached out 3 or 4 times, asked if I needed anything, offered to send me stuff. As a person, you couldn't get better. Same as a teammate. He's always empowering everybody to be better and do better and want more. And I remember I quote tweeted this saying, think what you want of Russell Westbrook, but this was good to read. Y'all, that's what we need more in this world. I'm not trying to preach to y'all. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you guys the best Suns content that I can give you. But this was a nice feel-good story, y'all. That was cool. Obviously, Austin Reeves is, just got that big contract, and he's playing with Team USA, and he is a good player. Might be a little overrated, but he's a good player. But this was a cool story, y'all. And you know what? Love it or hate it, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Russell Westbrook's always been one of my favorite players in the league. I mean, when it comes to the greatest point guards of all time, call me crazy, he has to at least be in the conversation, at least the past decade or so. I mean, come on. He's averaged multiple, triple-double seasons, won an MVP. The list goes on and on. The dude is an incredible player. And I know he's getting older and injuries and all that, and look, I'll just say this, y'all. Those, first maybe 3 games of the playoffs for Suns, he balled out, man. He pretty much won them game 1. So shout out to Russell Westbrook. This was just a cool story. I just wanted to go over that. But yeah, y'all, I think that's it. If you guys got any questions, you guys got any comments, concerns, whatever. I know that I missed a few questions last live show. I think somebody asked me my thoughts on the Damian Lillard stuff. I believe somebody did. Maybe we can talk about that. If you guys got something, let me know. If not, we'll probably just wrap up the show, call it a day. But yeah, overall thoughts, everybody. Again, we can maybe do a quick speed round of what's going on. But yeah, the schedule is out. And the Phoenix Suns have 37 national TV games or whatever, 25 national TV games. It's getting confusing. 14 back-to-backs. We got a long 6-game homestand from December 29th to January 7th. 7-game road trip, the longest road trip from January 4th to, or January 24th to February 4th. And then, yeah, I'm just excited, y'all. I'm going to try to, you guys know me. I'm going to try my best to cover each and every single game. And especially around the preseason, y'all, I'm going to really try to do my best to do live shows and pump out as much content during the preseason, because again, we don't really know what this team is going to look like. And the preseason won't show us everything that this team is going to look like, but it will be a nice teaser trailer preview. D-Book says, thoughts on the Poole trade? Oh man, if you guys saw those shows, during free agency and all that, I was talking so much about the Wizards. Oh man. Pretty much my thoughts are the Wizards are in full rebuild mode. That's an understatement. They might be pretty fun on offense, but they're not going to be good for a long, long time. I honestly was surprised Kyle Kuzma re-signed there. I mean, it's all about the money now, so he probably just took the money. They're not going to be that good of a team. But do they have scorers? Yes. Do they have young players, project players? Yes. Maybe there'll be something in 5 to 7 years. But I think if you really are a basketball sicko and you focused in on what the Wizards were doing, the rebuild was the rebuild was the way to go for them. Because, they obviously didn't keep Chris Paul. They traded Bradley Beal to us, they had no other options. They weren't winning. They hadn't won a playoff series in a couple years or something, or a few years. They're just not that good of a team. They weren't going anywhere. Chantel says, thoughts on James Harden? Oh boy. I don't even know where to begin with this, y'all. This might sound like a cliche narrative take. I think there's just one of two things are going to happen. Well, first off, let me just say this. Yes, the Suns had their bad moments, with Jay Crowder and even with the DA stuff last year, right? Especially during media day and all that. Excuse me. So yes, the Suns have had their flaws. They've had players come and go, right? But let me just say this. This isn't good. And it really makes the Sixers look bad. I was literally texting Philly Take with RB earlier, and we were just talking about videos and stuff and live shows, and he's like, man, the Sixers are down bad right now. And he was like, we got a lot of drama going on. That's no joke. That. Could you imagine if that was the Phoenix Suns right now? We would be having a completely different conversation. So it's not good. It's not a good look for the Sixers. It's not a good look for Daryl Morey, and it's not a good look for James Harden. So to answer the question, I believe this is going to go two ways. Some kind of conversation will take place, and he will show up at training camp, whether he's in shape or not, whether he's fully there mentally or not, and he'll play. Maybe he'll play the start of the season. I don't know. But then maybe he's traded before the deadline. Or maybe they'll come to some agreement and he'll finish out the season and then he'll be off the Sixers. But again, it might sound cliche and it might sound narrative. I would just get rid of him, because Gemini makes a good point right here. Harden can never be trusted again. For real. I mean, this is the third time or something where he wants a trade. And I mean, did you guys see that clip of him saying, Daryl Moore is a liar. Daryl Moore, like, I'm never playing with Daryl. You know, that's bad, y'all. You know, look, think what you want of the Jay Crowder situation. At least Jay Crowder didn't say, I'm never playing for James Jones ever again and blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, yeah, I guess he pretty much said that, but you guys get my point. At least he didn't say it publicly. And yeah, things were bad with the Deandre Ayton situation for a while, but I don't think I ever heard Deandre Ayton say, I never want to play for Phoenix again. So yeah, this situation is not good, y'all, for the Sixers and Harden, y'all. Again, might sound cliche, might sound like a narrative, but it's true. Like, I wouldn't trust James Harden. If James Harden, God forbid, NBA gods forbid, if James Harden said, I want to play for the Phoenix Suns, I would be scared. I would not want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, y'all. Oh my God. All right, y'all. We got a troll in here. Bunch of troll haters, but yeah, I think that's it, y'all. Let's see. Lupa says, because he was responding to the troll, the Suns are screwed because we got rid of an old 90% injured CP3 for a 30-year-old, 25 points per game. I'll take a 30-year-old any day. Oh God. Let me just say this, y'all, real quick. Let's try to avoid the injury talk. You know, let's try to think positive. We can't control injuries. The NBA players can't control injuries. But let me just say this, like, let's try to avoid that. Let's just remember that Bradley Beal is one of the best scorers in the NBA, one of the best players in the NBA. And you know, he's got a fresh start in Phoenix. It's a new city, a new franchise, a new coach, etc., a new team. And, you know, recently he was in the Phoenix practice gym, and I'm sure he's been in Phoenix a lot. So it's a new start, y'all. Let's stay positive. Let's try not to talk about injuries. Anyways, y'all, I think that's pretty much it. Last comment here from Alan. For the vet minimum, though, bring Harden only for that. Maybe, yeah, maybe. If he really would accept the vet minimum and says, I want to win a championship with Phoenix, let's do this. I'm signing for the vet, maybe. But after that, no more. Anyways, all right, y'all. I think that's it. I love you guys. This was a pretty good show, y'all. You know, I really wanted to talk about the schedule. There were some key things I wanted to go over, and it was a good show. I appreciate everybody that was here. Thank you for everybody that was watching along live, or whether you're watching later. To end the show, you guys know that I'm a big Chucky Child's Play fanboy. You guys know I love that killer doll. You guys can look up there. You can see my little Funko Pops and all that. And actually, hold on, you guys. I got a couple Funko Pops over here. You guys know I love Chucky, the killer doll. And it was officially announced today that season 3, yes, season 3 of Chucky is back. Yes, even during the writer's strike. So that goes to tell me that they probably wrote all this before that writer's strike went down. And season 3, I believe it starts October 4th. Can't wait for season 3. For anybody who cares about my opinion on Chucky, I know you guys aren't here for my Chucky season thoughts, but really enjoyed season 1. Season 2 was a little bit bumpy, had some weird episodes, but also had some really good Chucky child play moments. So definitely excited for season 3 of Chucky. And yeah. So anyways, y'all, again, stay tuned for more Phoenix Suns content. I was also thinking about this, guys. Like, yes, we have the rest of August. Yes, we have all of September, but training camp is sort of around the corner. It's going to be probably late September. And then all of a sudden, our first preseason game is October 8th. So we got like a couple months max, you know what I mean? And then bam, basketball, probably less than 2 months. Then basketball will be back in our lives. And I know there's some hardcore football fans out there. Football starting soon. So it's going to be great, y'all. Just hang in there. And again, you guys already know, If it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. You know, there might be a few videos and a few live shows just to kind of keep the content going, you know, but like I'm going to try my best, y'all. And again, I truly appreciate the support. You guys' support means the world to me. You guys allow me to do things in my real life that I don't know if I'd ever be able to do without YouTube. So I love you guys. God bless you guys. Stay safe. I don't mean to preach to y'all, but be patient with people. I mean that. Be patient with people. Be nice to people. I love you guys. God bless. I'm out of here. Peace out. And as always, if it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. And as always, go Suns. Peace.
What's up, son?